I had a friend. His name is Chukwudi. Chukwudi and I were best friends. We've been friends for many years. Chukwudi is the most selfless guy I've ever come across. No joke. This guy could give his transportation fare to a total stranger and choose to walk home. But his selflessness didn't mean he was immune to stubbornness or stupidity. He often made choices which got him into trouble, but his gentle nature was always able to get him out of trouble. Chukwudi and I both came from poor homes. Amidst all the lack we lived in, not even for one day did we think of doing anything illegal. If there was one thing Chukwudi and I feared, it was having our freedom taken away, so we did everything possible to stay out of trouble. We both saw education as the key to living a better life, so we made sure to always have the best results in school. There was something Chukwudi had that I wanted so badly, but I knew there was no way I could ever get what I wished for. And this thing I wanted so badly was Chukwudi's sister. Her beauty was angel-like. When she smiled, it felt like the whole world was moving in slow motion. Yes, I was crazy about her, but being with her was a huge and mighty no. Even if there was a way on God's green earth for her to feel the same way I do, her parents would instantly kick against it. Her name is Ada, by the way. Over time, I got to understand that Ada's parents saw her as their one-way ticket out of poverty. So they were very protective of her. They weren't just going to allow any broke guy jump in and steal her heart. They dictated who she could be and not be with. After rejecting the many guys who came to ask for her hand in marriage, they finally got what they wanted. To cut the long story short, Ada got married to a very wealthy guy. As in, this guy had money. The type of money I could only see in my dreams. I often wondered how he made his money, but I couldn't just figure it out. For some reason, he preferred giving money to people over teaching them how to make money. I found this to be totally weird. Even when Chukwudi asked him about his business, he couldn't say anything concrete. He just kept beating around the bush. But when Chukwudi asked his in-law for money, he was quick to give it to him. Come to think of it, Chukwudi's parents' plan actually worked. Their in-law definitely erased poverty from their lives. Ada, who was Chukwudi's sister, had been married to this rich guy for 3 years now. They traveled a lot and carelessly spent so much money that made me wonder about the source of his wealth. Months later, Chukwudi and I had an exam to write in Ibadan, so we had to travel. We were in Ibadan for a few days. We had a little bit of fun. Obviously, this was facilitated by the money his in-law gave him. We really enjoyed being in Ibadan. While we were there, Chukwudi's in-law had a habit of calling him several times, always wanting to find out his whereabouts. I found this to be very disturbing, but Chukwudi felt his in-law was just looking out for him because he had never been to Ibadan before. Anytime he called, he would tell Chukwudi to stay away from banks in Ibadan because they weren't safe. I guess that's why his in-law gave him a lot of cash to last him a long time. I needed to transfer money to someone, but the transaction failed, so I had to go to the bank the next day. I asked Chukwudi to come with me, but he was reluctant to. But eventually, he agreed to come with me. At the bank, I filled the form I was given and waited to submit it. All of a sudden, we heard a loud noise, boom, followed by a series of gunshots. Before we could make a move, the robbers were already in the bank. They asked us to kneel down, which we did. I began to plot our escape because I had no idea how things were going to turn out. These bank robbers weren't joking at all. They meant business. It was obvious that this wasn't their first time of doing something like this. Every move the robbers made was well thought out and planned. After getting access to the bank's vault, they came out with bags of money. The guy we perceived to be the head of the robbers was speaking. And I don't know what got into Chukwudi, but he looked up and he saw that the head of the robbers was his in-law. He called out his name in shock. "Chinedu, is this you? What are you doing?" Chinedu, his in-law, in shock, also said, Chukwudi, what are you doing here? Why can't you just listen to simple instruction? I told you not to visit any bank. Oh God, why? Why didn't this boy just stay at home? In the blink of an eye, his in-law pulled out a gun and said, Chukwudi, I'm sorry, it wasn't meant to be this way. Then he shot him several times. My head went cold. I couldn't believe what I just saw. I wanted to run to my friend, but I couldn't. I knew that his in-law would kill me if he felt I knew Chukwudi. So I stayed there and watch my friend bleed out. It's a really sad story. Come to think of it, Chukwudi's parents' plan actually worked. Ada's husband erased poverty from their lives and also erased their only son in the process.